Have you ever wondered why some men seem trapped in a permanent state of struggle, while others remain unshakable in the face of absolute chaos? You look around and you see men who are constantly fighting. They are fighting their boss, fighting the economy, fighting their spouses, and fighting the traffic. They are exhausted, bitter, and defeated. Then you see the others, the rare few, the men who seem to glide through the exact same storms that drown everyone else. They are calm, they are effective, they are formidable. What is the difference? It isn't IQ, it isn't a bank balance, it is wisdom. Stoic philosophy, the ancient operating system used by emperors and slaves alike, teaches us that the difference often lies in the language we use. There are 7 specific phrases, verbal red flags, that signal a weak mind and a fragile spirit. These are software glitches in your brain. If you catch yourself saying even one of these, you are unknowingly sabotaging your own power. You are voluntarily handing the keys to your happiness to strangers. Today we are going to expose these silent killers. We are going to delete the code of the fool and replace it with the unbreakable truth of the sage. If you are ready to leave the path of the victim and walk the path of the master, pay close attention. The first mark of the fool, the refusal of ownership. When the foolish man, and by foolish we mean philosophically unwise, faces a crisis, his first instinct is to look through a window, never a mirror. He looks outward. He says, "It is not my fault." He says, "The economy is bad. That is why I am poor." He says, "My boss is unfair. That is why I am not promoted." He says, "My partner is difficult. That is why I am miserable." He becomes the eternal victim. But understand this, the moment you blame the world, you admit that the world has power over you. You are admitting that you are a puppet, and the circumstances hold the strings. The Stoic, however, knows that blame is a waste of mental energy. Epictetus, the great slave-turned-philosopher, taught us the most fundamental rule of life, the dichotomy of control. There are things in our control and things out of our control. The foolish man tries to control the external and ignores the internal. The wise man ignores the external and masters the internal. Consider the story of 2 captains navigating the same storm. The foolish captain stands on the deck and screams at the wind. He curses the waves for being too rough. He shouts at the gods for their cruelty. He abandons the wheel to shake his fist at the sky, demanding that the ocean respect him. The wise captain looks at the exact same storm and says nothing. He knows the storm does not care about his opinion. The storm is indifferent. So instead of screaming, he adjusts his sails. He grips the wheel tighter. He focuses entirely on the one thing he can do: steer the ship. When you say, "It's not my fault," you are the captain screaming at the wind. You are declaring your own helplessness. A Stoic understands that while the event might not be your fault, the response is always your responsibility. To blame is to remain a child. To accept responsibility, even for messes you didn't make, is the first step toward manhood. As long as you are busy pointing fingers, your hands are too busy to build a solution. The second mark of the fool, the emotional puppet. This is perhaps the most dangerous lie a man can tell himself. He says, "He made me lose my temper." Listen to that phrase carefully. He made me. This implies that your emotional state is a remote-controlled device, and everyone around you holds the remote. The foolish man believes that insults, traffic, or rude people force him to react. He believes he has no choice. If the world is kind, he is happy. If the world is harsh, he is miserable. He has no fortress of the mind. Seneca, the great Roman statesman, famously said, "Anger is a temporary madness." He described anger not as a sign of strength, but as a sign of weakness, a collapse of reason. When you say someone made you angry, you are admitting that you lack the discipline to guard your own mind. Let me give you an example that will change how you view anger forever. Imagine you are walking through a crowded market. You are holding a cup of hot coffee. Suddenly, someone bumps into you hard. The coffee spills all over your new shirt. You spin around, furious, ready to fight, screaming about respect. You are ready to punch this person. Then, you look down, and you see that the person who bumped into you is blind. He is using a cane. He looks terrified. Instantly, your anger vanishes. It evaporates in a split second. It is replaced by compassion. You might even apologize to him. Now ask yourself, what changed? The physical event was exactly the same. The coffee is still spilled. Your shirt is still ruined. The bump was just as hard. The only thing that changed was your judgment of the event. This proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the stranger didn't make you angry. Your opinion of the stranger made you angry. The stupid man is a slave to his immediate impressions. The Stoic pauses. He realizes that an insult is like a rock thrown at a cliff. If the cliff is solid, the rock simply bounces off. If you are easily provoked, you are easily controlled. Do not give anyone that power over you. The third mark of the fool, the future trap. If you listen closely to the unhappy man, you will hear him living his entire life in a time that does not exist. He says, I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when I buy that house. I'll be happy when I retire. He treats the present moment as a waiting room, a mere obstacle to get through to reach some imaginary paradise. This is the definition of anxiety. This is the definition of dissatisfaction. By tying his happiness to future events that may never happen, he guarantees misery in the now. Consider the parable of the wealthy businessman and the fisherman. A businessman goes on a holiday to a small coastal village. At noon, he sees a fisherman docking his boat. The fisherman has caught just enough fish to feed his family and is now relaxing, laughing, and playing a guitar. The businessman is confused. He asks, "Why aren't you out fishing more? The day is still young." The fisherman smiles and says, "I have caught enough. Now I rest." The businessman, frustrated by this lack of ambition, says, "But if you fished for 4 more hours, you could catch double the fish. You could sell the surplus. Within a year, you could buy a second boat, then a fleet. Then you could build a canning factory and make millions." The fisherman asks, "And then what?" The businessman says excitedly, Then you would be rich. You could retire. You could move to a small coastal village, sleep late, sit by the ocean, and enjoy your family." The fisherman looks at the businessman and says, "Sir, what do you think I am doing right now?" The stupid man runs on a treadmill, chasing a horizon he can never catch. He postpones his life until he is too old to enjoy it. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, who had everything a man could want, wealth, power, fame, reminded himself daily, confine yourself to the present. He understood that the future is a mist and the past is a memory. The present is the only reality we possess. Stoicism isn't about lack of ambition. It's about ambitious action without the desperate attachment to the result. Stop waiting to live. The fourth mark of the fool, rejecting the training. This is the cry of the man who believes the universe owes him comfort. He says, "Why is this happening to me?" When tragedy strikes, when he loses money or falls ill, the foolish man feels personally targeted. He views hardship as an injustice. "Why me? I'm a good person. This isn't fair." He resists reality. This resistance creates suffering, turning pain which is inevitable into misery, which is optional. The Stoic embraces a concept called amor fati, a love of fate, not just tolerating what happens, but loving it. The Stoic sees every obstacle not as a block in the path, but as the path itself. Imagine you are a wrestler. If your coach pairs you with a weak, fragile opponent, you learn nothing. You remain weak. But if your coach pairs you with a giant, a champion who throws you around the mat, you struggle, you sweat, you bleed. The foolish man asks, "Why does the coach hate me?" The wise man understands, the coach is trying to make me a champion. Life is that coach. When you say, "Why is this happening to me?" you are rejecting the training. You are wishing for a life of ease, which is a life of decay. Marcus Aurelius thanked the gods for his difficulties because they allowed him to test his virtue. When the fire burns, everything you throw into it becomes fuel for the fire. A stupid man is extinguished by the wind. A Stoic is the fire that burns brighter because of it. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" The fifth mark of the fool, the ego defense. The moment a man thinks he knows everything, he stops growing. He says, "I know that already." This phrase is the tombstone of intelligence. The foolish man protects his ego by pretending to be an expert. He listens to reply, not to understand. He views new information as a threat to his intelligence rather than a supplement to it. He is rigid, and like a dry twig, because he is rigid, he snaps easily. Epictetus was a teacher, and he would kick students out of his classroom who were arrogant. He famously said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. If your cup is full, nothing more can be poured in." There is a Zen story that mirrors this Stoic truth perfectly. A scholar visited a master to inquire about Zen, but the scholar did all the talking. He explained his own theories, his own knowledge, his own greatness. As the master served tea, he poured the scholar's cup full and then kept pouring. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the table and the scholar's robes. The scholar shouted, "Stop! The cup is full. No more will go in." The master replied, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you wisdom unless you first empty your cup?" The stupid man walks through life with a full cup, guarding his ignorance, terrified to admit he is wrong. The Stoic cultivates the mind of a student. He is willing to look foolish in the short term to become wise in the long term. He asks questions. He admits mistakes. He knows that true wisdom lies in admitting the vastness of what you do not know. The sixth mark of the fool, the illusion of busyness. "I'm too busy. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to think," he says. "I don't have time." The foolish man wears his busyness like a badge of honor. He mistakes movement for progress. He thinks that running around in circles means he is getting somewhere. But "I don't have time" is usually a lie. What he really means is, it is not a priority. He has time to scroll on his phone for 2 hours, but no time to meditate for 10 minutes. Seneca wrote an entire essay on this called "On the Shortness of Life." His conclusion: life is long enough if you know how to use it. He observed that men guard their money greedily. They wouldn't let a stranger steal their wallet. Yet, they let everyone steal their time. They give hours to meaningless arguments, days to frivolous entertainment, and years to jobs they hate. Imagine you have a bank account that deposits $86,400 every single morning. But at the end of the day, whatever you haven't used is deleted. You cannot save it. You cannot carry it over. You would spend every cent, wouldn't you? That is your life. You get 86,400 seconds every day. The foolish man lets them drain away, distracted and unfocused. The Stoic treats time as his most precious commodity. He ruthlessly cuts out the non-essential. He says no to the good so he can say yes to the great. When a man says he doesn't have time to improve himself, he is saying he is too busy driving to stop for gas. Eventually, he will break down. Do not be the man who reaches his deathbed realizing he was busy, but he never lived. The seventh mark of the fool, the prison of opinion. This is the ultimate cage. He says, "What will they think?" The foolish man lives his life for an audience that isn't even watching. He buys things he doesn't need, with money he doesn't have, to impress people he doesn't like. He is terrified of judgment. He censors his true thoughts and suppresses his true nature because he craves the validation of the crowd. He is a slave to the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius found this behavior baffling. He asked, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Think of an actor on a stage. If he spends the whole play looking at the audience to see if they are clapping, he will forget his lines. He will trip over the set. He will ruin the performance. To perform well, he must focus on the craft, on the truth of the scene, not the applause. The stupid man is the actor looking at the crowd. He changes his personality like a chameleon to fit in. The Stoic stands firm. He values his own conscience above his reputation. He knows that fame is just noise, and reputation is just what people think you are. Character is who you actually are. If you seek the approval of others, you give them the power to destroy you with a single criticism. Break the chains. Let them think what they want. You have a life to lead. These 7 phrases: blaming others, claiming anger, postponing happiness, rejecting fate, feigning knowledge, wasting time, and fearing opinion. These are the walls of a prison you built for yourself. But the door is unlocked. You can walk out at any moment. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about suppressing stupidity. It's about seeing the world clearly and acting with courage. Catch yourself the next time these words try to leave your mouth. Swallow them. Replace them with responsibility, gratitude, and action. If this video added value to your life, do not let the lesson end here. Hit the like button to help others find this path, and subscribe specifically if you want to master your mind while others lose theirs. The choice is yours.